Missouri voters on Tuesday overwhelmingly rejected a measure that would have made it far harder to pass citizen-sponsored constitutional amendments. The Republican-controlled legislature placed the proposal on the ballot, asking voters to amend the state constitution so that any citizen initiative would need a majority in each of Missouri's 8 U.S. House districts, not just a simple statewide majority. That threshold would have been the highest of any of the 18 states that allow citizen groups to put constitutional amendments before voters. The push came after Missouri voters used the initiative process to expand Medicaid, legalize marijuana and sports betting, establish a constitutional right to abortion, raise the minimum wage, and require paid sick leave. Lawmakers argued the current system lets a narrow statewide majority impose policies on the whole state, but opponents, including the State Real Estate Association and abortion rights groups, warned that under the new rule an amendment could win 95% of the total vote and still fail because it might fall short in a single district. In fact, none of the 4 amendments Missouri has approved since 2020 carried every congressional district. When the votes were counted, fewer than 20% supported the change, while about 80% opposed it. The defeat preserves the existing simple majority standard for citizen-led amendments. Notably, the higher threshold would not have applied to amendments placed on the ballot by the legislature itself; those would still need only a simple majority. The measure was the latest in a series of legislative attempts to curb direct democracy in Missouri. After voters passed a minimum wage and sick leave amendment, lawmakers stripped out the sick leave provision. This November, the legislature has placed another amendment on the ballot that would repeal the 2024 citizen-led initiative guaranteeing reproductive freedom, including abortion. That earlier measure passed with just 52% of the vote, and the upcoming referendum is expected to be close. Missouri's tradition of citizen-sponsored ballot initiatives dates back to the early 20th century. Early efforts included several failed prohibition drives before a federal ban took effect, and a successful 1976 campaign that removed language allowing the legislature to require segregated schools 22 years after the Supreme Court's Brown v. Board of Education decision. Kate Zernicka, a national reporter for the New York Times, reported that the defeat marks a rare moment when voters directly blocked a legislative effort to reshape the initiative process. She also pointed out that Missouri's initiative tradition stretches back more than a century, beginning with early prohibition campaigns that failed before a nationwide ban, and culminating in the 1976 vote that stripped segregationist language from the state constitution, more than 20 years after the Supreme Court's landmark Brown decision. The reporter noted that the legislature's latest attempt to raise the threshold would have created a unique barrier not seen in any other state, and that the overwhelming opposition suggests strong public support for keeping the current simple majority rule. That's the story for today. Thanks for listening.